Hi, I'm Ron Knaflic with Edwards Instrument Company, and today I'm going to show you how to install a bass converter. We like to refer to this as the BC401. If you have an edge brace Edwards bass valve, make sure you order BC401-E, which contains your edge brace component. If you have a standard brace valve, your part will look like this. So today I'm going to be installing it on an edge brace bass valve, and I have my parts at hand and pretty simple tool list. We're going to start with a small common flathead screwdriver. I like with a little swivel base, it's always really nice. And we're also going to grab our Allen wrench that is supplied with every Edwards instrument. This is an American 3/32. If you in fact would lose the Allen wrench, it's a 3/32. This Allen wrench is used pretty much on every screw that is not a flathead screw on the instrument. So the first thing we're going to start with, we're going to remove our main tuning slide, and we're going to set that aside someplace safe. And we're going to go grab our common screwdriver, and the first thing we're going to remove is going to be the rod end screw that attaches the G-flat to the G-flat valve. Be very careful when you're doing this. It's quite easy to slip off the screw and poke yourself in the thumb, and it's as you can see right there, it's not the easiest place to get into with your hand. That's why the smaller screwdriver really comes in handy. Set your screwdriver down, carefully remove the little screw, and set that aside someplace safe. Very easy to lose, so be careful with that. Second thing we're going to do now is we're going to take our Allen wrench and we're going to loosen up this screw. At this point we're going to remove it because you're going to reuse this screw into the converter as well. And move it like so. Be very careful not to drop any of these screws at this point or any point during this operation onto your bell. You'll add a nice little ding to it, and that's not fun. So next thing we're going to do is, now that we have the G-flat valve actually disconnected, we're going to break the two connections that are attached with the edge brace. If you would have a standard brace valve where you're going to be utilizing these two screw tabs itself, you're going to remove these at this time, being very careful as well not to drop them on your bell. So for the edge brace, we're going to loosen the back, and this will help detach it from the F valve as well as the main cross brace. You notice at this point it allows the valve to swing freely, as well as you're going to notice your F valve is going to want to tilt away from yourself. So it's going to take a little manipulation to pull it out. You want to be very careful at this point. This is where bad things can happen, so gentle with that. Now that we have our G-flat valve separated away from the valve section, we're going to set that someplace safe. And now we have a valve that wants to move freely like this. So what I'll simply do is grab a large rubber band and place it over, and then swing that over onto the bell. Now we have it securely in place, as securely as a rubber band can be, and we're going to go ahead and grab our converter. So now we're going to take that screw that we took out earlier, place it in there, just get the threads started, pretty easy. If at this chance you notice that this connection point is dry, we're just grab a little tuning slide grease, just put a very, very light coating. Not only is this great to help get this part on, but also creates a better seal. So we're going to work that onto there, and then we're going to swing it over you want to swing it over the top so it clears that. Come down. And then you're going to line up each of the braces. Thread on the bell brace. At this point we can remove our rubber band because this is securely attached now. Now the second part of the operation is going to be involving taking off the linkage off the G-flat valve, and we're going to use that to essentially keep the G-flat trigger in place. This is a very handy little setup. So we're going to remove the little screw from there, and now we have the linkage in our hand, and now the G-flat valve can be put away. So going on to the converter itself, you're going to notice we have a nice little tab here, and this little tab is tapped to accept the screw that is from the rod end. And what we're going to do is we're simply just going to lock in place the linkage. Carefully thread that into there, making sure not to scratch the lacquer bits. A little tricky to get in there. If you want, you're welcome to also put this linkage on before you get to this point, before you've actually attached it onto the horn. Okay, once we have that tightly in place, we're going to look for the little tiny screw that we lost from before. We didn't lose it, of course, because we set it in a place that we'd remember. Place it into the rod end. Then I'm going to thread it into the G-flat arm. This is a little tricky. This takes a steady hand. Definitely do not have a couple cups of coffee before doing this. It helps you make this go a little smoother. Thread that in place. Now you're going to need to put a little tuning side grease on tuning side receiver, because obviously this part has been sent to you dry. We'll grab our main tuning side. If it needs a little lube at that point, you can put it on. It's a good time. Slide in place. And now we have a G-flat that stays in place. Nice F. And a beautiful setup. And don't forget as well to tighten this up at the end, so that creates a nice seal. And should be set to go. Enjoy.